Welcome back to another Chef Knives to Go Quick Look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have this time is the Yusaku Aogami or Blue No. 2 Nakiri 180mm knife. So this line of knives has 3-layer construction. In the hard core steel in the center, the cutting edge steel is Aogami or Blue Paper No. 2 reactive high carbon steel. Heat treats about 62 Rockwell or on that core steel general target for that. The construction is a soft reactive iron cladding on either side of that harder core steel, so it's an all-reactive blade. The cladding does have a protective blacksmith scale or Kudauchi or KU finish on it. And as well, they put a very highly refined or really nicely done lacquer, food-safe lacquer coating, protective coating over the entire blade. It's a kind of a tough lacquer. I've been using the 210 Gyuto a fair amount, and it's just started to wear off just a little bit right at the edge. So the lacquer is pretty well done on this. It's quite tough. You could leave it on, or you could strip it off with some acetone if you wanted to do that right off the bat. But or you could just let it wear off naturally. But these are well-crafted, nice-looking blades with just a little bit of kind of handcrafted feel to them, but some refinement at the same time. So the weight and dimensions on these will vary a little bit from knife to knife. This particular one is 188 grams or 6.6 ounces. You can see the edge length is 180 or about 7.1 millimeters, and it's also not very tall. It's about 48 millimeters tall. So you can see this is kind of a longer, thinner, I should say less tall Nakiri. That's the style of it. The overall length is about 335 millimeters or 13.2 inches. Spine thickness is about 3.2 millimeters coming out of the handle, but it thins out quite a bit to about 2.5, halfway down the blade, and then pretty much just maintains that towards the front side of the blade. So it's nice and stiff, but yet these are ground very thin at the edge. So I've been using the 210 Gyuto, and it's been a nice performer, so this should do nicely as well. Food release is quite good on these, as well as food separation. You'll lose a little bit on, performance through some denser ingredients with a little bit of wedging, but that's kind of the compromise of knife design. But it's a good confident feel on the board. That stiffness helps. As I said, the blade height is pretty much 48 millimeters all the way down. Handle is a basic Chef Knives to Go octagonal ambidextrous walnut with a maple ferrule. Just nice, simple handle, lightweight. It's they've got a really nice tight install on the glue up, so very well sealed up, nothing to worry about there. The balance point comes out to about right there, which is a little in front of a pinch grip. The reason is the blade is a little bit longer. It's kind of thicker all the way down, and the handle's pretty light. A little heavier handle would kind of bring that back a little bit, but definitely got a little bit of chopping power there, which in a Nakiri is not a bad thing. A lot of people really prefer that kind of feel on the style of blade. We looked at it a little bit, but here's kind of the beauty shot. The finish on these, everyone's been a little bit different, so they've got some nice hand variations to them, but it's kind of a mottled finish, a little bit kind of reminiscent of a nishiji or pear skin type finish, just a touch. Fairly smooth Kudauchi. It's a little smoother because you've got the lacquer on there. It'll probably be a little bit, it'll have a little more texture to it once that wears off. But you've got hand chiseled kanji on the right side of the blade. So hand engraved, that's a really nice touch. You've got an embossed kanji on the left side of the blade. And these are just well made. They're straight. The grinds look pretty clean. They've done some relief on the corners of the spine all the way down. They've done some file work. You can see it's not super smooth, but it's definitely takes the edge off. And so it's very comfortable for, the price point on these is, they put a lot of work into this for the price point. So you get a lot of knife. But just kind of nice fit and finish all around. A little bit of handcrafted feel to them, definitely. Here is the cutting board profile. And as you might expect, it's pretty flat. They've actually got a very nice profile on this because it's not dead flat. Dead flat profile is hard to use because you've got to hit that thing straight up and down, or you'll hit the front, you'll hit the back, and it starts doing this. So this is much more forgiving than just a pool table flat profile. So you could definitely tweak this a little if you wanted to and clean it up a little in terms of making it a little flatter if you felt like it, but it's a pretty, I'd say very, very usable Nakiri profile, especially for a longer knife right out of the box. The longer they are, the bigger the flat section, the harder it is to use. So got that rounded kind of tip on it, so you can definitely rock it a little bit if you wanted to. So I think it's a very well executed profile for this style of blade. So just a nice line of knives. The price point's really good. The value's high. The craftsmanship seems quite good. The steel seems quite good. I sharpened the 210 millimeter, and I thought the steel sharpened up very nicely. It felt a little hard, which is kind of good from an edge retention perspective, but it sharpened up nicely, and it took a really nice edge. So don't know about edge retention, but the steel felt pretty good on the stones. So there you have a nice knife. This is the Yusaku Owlgami R Blue No. 2 Nakiri 180 millimeter knife.